Brought to you by DK Audio.
History of Britain and Ireland by DK. Read by Elliot Fitzpatrick. 1. Britons and Invaders. Up to 1066. The islands of Britain witnessed wave after wave of settlements and invasions that brought conflict, wealth, and faith, while helping to shape the flourishing arts, languages, and destinies of the peoples of England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. First arrivals. About 800,000 years ago, the first human ancestors reached the British Isles from continental Europe. In 1066, their descendants once more encountered European migrants in the shape of the Norman conquerors of England. Over the intervening vast span of time, all parts of the Isles of Britain and Ireland were settled, with Norfolk in England showing the first scant evidence, Scotland being reached around 14,000 years ago, and Ireland about 7,000 BCE. When agriculture arrived in about 4,000 BCE, people began to modify the landscape in ways which can be recognized today. Ards, primitive ploughs, scarred the land, and great earthworks and causeways were constructed, culminating in a fully fledged megalithic age from around 3000 BCE, when stone monuments appeared throughout Britain and Ireland. Political entities did exist, but their development is hard to trace. It is only from immediately preceding the first Roman invasion of Britain in 55 BCE that we begin to know names: Cassivellaunus, Caraticus, and Boudicca, native British leaders in the struggle against the Romans. New identities. The separate destinies of England, Scotland, and Ireland now became apparent. Ireland was never invaded by the Romans, and its Iron Age chieftains developed a political culture untainted by imperial rule. The final limit of the Roman province of Britannia at Hadrian's Wall, built around 120 CE, marked out a southern entity that would broadly develop into England and Wales, and a northern one that would ultimately become Scotland. Roman Britain lasted 367 years, until 410 CE, and gave the area a long period of peace and prosperity, not known until early modern times. Yet its ending heralded a troubled time, particularly for England, as successive invaders swept through the south. In the 5th century CE, Anglo-Saxons arrived from northwestern Europe. They gradually progressed westwards and northwards, expunging many residual elements of Roman culture, and supplanting England's Celtic and Latin with a Germanic dialect. The Anglo-Saxon invasions divided southern Britain between a Germanic east and a Celtic west, ultimately creating Wales, a western haven that remained largely unconquered and was ruled by the descendants of the displaced Britons. Christianity joined these two halves, and Ireland and Scotland too, in a common faith from the 6th century CE, while petty kingdoms in each of these realms began to coalesce into something larger. Viking invasions from Scandinavia from the late 8th century CE decided by a process of elimination of their weaker opponents who would inherit the Isles. End of the beginning. England's survivor was the Kingdom of Wessex, which merely endured under Alfred the Great, but expanded in the 10th century CE under his successors, until Athelstan in the 1920s CE could call himself, with some justification, King of the English and ruler of all Britain. In Scotland, the Dalriatan ruler Kenneth MacAlpin conquered the Picts in 842 CE to create the Kingdom of Alba, the forerunner.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?